Hello and welcome to the weekly Kashmir University Video Digest Quest. First, a look at the highlights. Brainstorming session held on invasive alien plants. International Women's Day celebrated. And seminar on emerging frontier of digital libraries held. Now the details of these events with your host Omar Malik. The Department of Botany organized a workshop cum brainstorming session Invasive Alien Plants in Himalayas, Status, Ecological Impact and Management. Sponsored by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India under its National Mission on Himalayan Studies. Associate Professor of Botany Department and Principal Invigilator Dr. Manzoor Ahmed Shah, while presenting the welcome address, stressed the importance of the theme.
It is these invasions, climate change, other anthropogenic pressures that have basically brought a number of very valuable endemic species of this Himalayan region to the brink of extinction. So under these two projects, basically there was a scope for us to have a brainstorming session with all the stakeholders to see to it how best we can basically understand this problem of invasion in association with other threats, and how best we can put our expertise, our minds together to basically come up with the conservation plan or the strategy for the species which are actually threatened, right? I mean, and some of them are really at the brink of extinction. Can we have anything basically done to recover them and bring them back to their sustainable population status?
Dean Research and PI Professor Zafar Ahmed Rishi said that the main reason to organize such workshop is to bring best brains together and stimulate ways for innovative studies.
The main idea was not only to brainstorm the issues that we have with us, but also to deepen the relationship between this university, different departments of this university, and the nodal agency, which is GB Panth, for this national mission. It was launched, say, 5 years back, and the vision of this national mission is sustenance and enhancement of the ecological, natural, cultural, and socio-economic capital assets and values of the IHR, Indian Himalayan region. This is the vision of the NMHS program. And then the mission is to launch and support innovative studies and related knowledge interventions towards sustenance and enhancement of the ecological, natural, cultural, and socio-economic capital assets and values of the IHR. Now, somehow they are saying that whatever you have, if you have good practice, we will support them, that in case you are going to come up with certain innovative measures of utilizing biodiversity in a sustainable manner for the regional economy, that also will be supported. The third thing on which they are laying emphasis is that you shall have to have some sort of, say, interface with the stakeholders.
Dean Academic Affairs Professor Musaddiq Amin Sahaf said most of the research projects are on ecology, and one should not forget to carry research on socio-cultural aspects.
Most of the research projects you will find are on ecology, which is important, but at the same time you will find the projects need to be carried on the social aspects and the what we call the cultural aspects, economic aspects. So therefore, the problem is not so simple. It is most complicated problem that has the dimensions from different perspectives, from social perspective, from economic perspective, from cultural perspective, as well as from ecology. And I'm not sure whether there is some kind of an integrated project that is being carried out by the institutions in the country where you will find all three dimensions have been properly addressed. And even I have not seen there is any task force constituted by the planners to provide a set of strategy which will address this particular problem, not from a single perspective, but from all perspectives. That's one problem that we face.
Head Department of Botany Dr. A.H. Wani said that the seminar theme can be divided into 3 parts.
Alien plants or invasive plants. So people are working on invasive plants, or can say management of invasive plants. So then second is the conservation or protection of our natural heritage, which is, we can say, medicinal plant, we can say reserve which we have, which I just say that we have about 450 species of medicinal plants. If we will be able to develop protocol for the conservation of all these plants, it will be a big achievement, and it will be a big treasure to the state as well as, we can say, to the stakeholders. So third, here in this case, so it is all in response to ecological, we can say, disturbances, ecological disturbances. These alien plants, which I can say, hitchhiker plants.
Registrar Dr. Nisar Ahmed Mir, while sharing his experience, said that during his childhood days, these invasive plants were removed on priority basis.
And again, there is experience that that grass was called, purpose was called balagas. Some without flowering, if our animals use it to eat it, it was very dangerous for them to eat it. They would rather die. And if it would flower, then it used to it has a mechanism that we should have to dry it, then feed to our animals. Those are few brief experiences in my life about these. I don't know whether we will call that invasive or what we call in your own terminology, but I would call it unwanted some guests in our fields those days, which at times what I have shared with you that my elder brother used to put it on my wounded finger and it would heal. I don't know whether I would call it threat or I would call it a blessing that it would heal also my wounds. That was a brief experience of my life.
Giving example of Uttaranchal State Dean School of Biological Sciences, Professor Irshad Ahmed Nauchu said that construction should not destroy the local diversity.
Construction of road is destruction of a huge wealth of herbs, shrubs, microbes, etc., which are lying in that soil. We block those. And this construction continues. Government claims we have uplifted the tourist resorts, but we actually oppose that. Because construction of that type is destroying the habitats where wonderful natural wealth was existing. In terms of plants, in terms of animals, in terms of microbes, birds, we are destroying that. But that phenomenon is not recognized by the government as such. We have actually righted it to the concerned quarters that this should not be done. Despite that, they do it. I'll compare that with what I've seen in Uttaranchal, Himachal. If we visit a forest, at the time of entry, we cross-check whether we carry with us something. And once we come back, we are again checked whether we carry with us something or not. Because they want that we should only visit, assess, analyze, document, and come back empty-handed. But do you see such set of these rules followed in Kashmir? No, we don't see it. We can go anywhere, do anything, get back whatever we want without any barrier at any place to actually prevent whatever diversity we have.
The Center for Women's Studies and Research celebrated International Women's Day with a day-long seminar on Balance for Better. Coordinator, Center for Women's Studies and Research, Dr. Tabassum Firdaus, while presenting the welcome address, said that feminism does not mean male bashing.
Feminism and creating a balance in the society is not the job of just one gender, and thus I invite you all, the men and women, to help make this world a better place for us and for the future generations. Some people use feminism synonymous to anti-men. All this needs to stop. Feminism by definition is the belief that men and women should have equal rights and opportunities, that they should have social, economic and political parity. The moment is not man versus woman. It's all about working together. Men, gender equality is an issue for you too. The stereotype that woman takes care of house and man brings the livelihood undervalues the role of a father. Growing up, I needed my father just as much I needed my mother. We must destigmatize men's roles as caregivers. In order for us to liberate women, we need to liberate men.
Vice Chancellor Professor Talat Ahmed said that he is happy to see that the ratio of women students is almost equal to that of the male students.
I am very happy that this university has a good ratio of male-female. In fact, the females are more than male, as I understand from the statistics. So that way, the university is doing well. We have been doing lots of, in addition to these academic things, we have been doing lots of outreach programs for the women, because those women who are not very lucky to have higher education and coming to the university, they should be also given equal opportunity. And the university has been doing this, and lots of program, like I know that we have started something with Usha machine, where we are training lots of females from nearby, and similarly in the adult and distance education, and continuation of this type of activity is happening in different areas of paper mache and stitching and many such activity.
Dean College Development Council Professor Nilofer Khan said that most Women's Studies Centre in India have been closed, but the university's Women's Studies Centre is the only one to function.
Although maximum of the women's studies centers in the country, they have been closed down, but we are so happy and we are so encouraged that in our state of J&K, this is the only center which has survived, and this is the only center which has started masters in gender studies. Although individually, I must tell this gathering, I had to fight a lot.
In her keynote address, former State Vigilance Commissioner and retired Principal District Session Judge Gosal Nisa Jilani said that women face not only exploitation but challenges because gender discrimination is ingrained into the subconsciousness of our society.
Her as a goddess, but the real fact and bitter truth is the woman has been exploited, subjected to the cruelty, and she has been facing a lot from the family, from the market and the society. People often argue that in many Western societies, there is a gender equality. Women there have all the legal rights as that of men. There is no gender indiscrimination at the workplace, and gender indiscrimination is deemed there to be an illegal. But the research reflects that there is a widespread prejudice against girls and women.
On the occasion, the Department of Students' Welfare dedicated a vehicle for females only. This vehicle for females will ply from Naugam railway station to the main campus. The Department of Library and Information Science conducted two-day All India seminar on emerging frontier of digital libraries, seamless access and interoperability of digital platforms. Presenting the welcome address, Head of the Library and Information Science, Dr. Shabir Ahmed Ganai, said that the theme of the seminar was chosen in view of the present challenges.
This theme has been selected keeping in view the developments going on in the information landscape due to the emergence of information and communication technologies. These technologies are transforming libraries day in and day out, and the result is in the form of digital libraries, virtual libraries, or even libraries without walls. Digital libraries are logical extension and augmentation of physical libraries.
Former Head of Library Science Professor S.M. Shafi, while delivering the keynote address, said that The challenges that are coming for the librarians means that they have to find ways of not only surviving but to stay as relevant as they are today.
There's a cultural barrier. The researcher never, he does not recognize you. He says, I can use it of my own. You have to create your space yourself. And that is the real challenge. It is not simply access. Access will be there. This will be a challenge always there. And with new tools, with new machines, they will be there. But this reconnect, if you are disconnected, a new generation of professionals will take over, and perhaps that you will be no more. And keeping that in mind, the department has a greater responsibility to frame, to revise its syllabus.
Dean School of Social Science Professor Asfa Jan lauded the research quality of the library and information science scholars.
Because they are undertaking the research topics in a very sophisticated manner, identifying the research areas, training their researchers. Because whenever and wherever I'm conducting the viva voce examination for their PhD and MPhil dissertations, PhD thesis, they are always impressing me by way of their presentation at the end of the session, because they are already trained to have the pre-submission presentation, which is a statutory requirement for the students.
Registrar Dr. Nisar Ahmed Mir discussed the importance of digital repositories in the emerging digital information landscape.
Government of India has selected 2 digital depositories for this NAD procedure. One was that NDML and another was CVL. So students would go either to NDML or to CVL for digitization of their academic records. Then there was a question, one professor Professor Pathak from IIT Mumbai, he was telling that we should have an interoperability mechanism. I was not much well versed with the interoperability procedure, so I became curious about, sir, what is this interoperability? So there he told me this interoperability is that if a student goes for digitization with the NDML, for example, he is putting his records, all the records with NDML. When tomorrow he wants to go to the CVL, after 1 year, if he is not satisfied with the services of NDML, he will go to the CVL for that purpose. So there should be an interoperability, means that this record, which is with the NDML, that should be accessible to the CVL also, so that a student can go and tie up with the CVL and he can access to his records.
Dean Research Professor Zafar Ahmed Rishi advised participants that teaching should be based on problem solving ways rather than not memory mode.
That we don't teach in problem solving mode. We teach in rote memory mode. We don't basically say, allow students to say, contemplate about the problems that we face and then what could be the possible solutions. It is not necessary that it has to be a scientific solution to a problem. It could be something else. I mean, many of us have Dal Lake, isn't it, before us. We teach limnology. Over the years, we have good presence also in world in this field. But we have never thought of solving this problem as others have solved. I was one day in China, they had a German firm which was constructing wetlands. I mean, they were utilizing the science that we know, you know, I mean, our students know, and utilizing that science, creating a wetland for pollution control. I mean, we don't think in this way. Third thing is that quite often, you, me, all of us, we teachers, somehow, I mean, view that government is not taking us seriously. Government is not going to take us seriously unless and until you do not demonstrate to them that we think differently, right? We have out-of-box solutions for you. Even in political arena also we have solutions to offer. We can change the narrative in here in Kashmir. I mean, till then, I don't think that anybody is going to take you seriously.
That's all for today's episode. Log on to our website emmrckashmir.com, where you can check the latest episode of The Quest. You can also watch it on our YouTube channel, that is KU Television. Do send us your valuable suggestions at our email address, that is quest@emmrckashmir.com. Before I take your leave, here are a few words of wisdom. Any fool knows men and women think differently at times, But the biggest difference is this: men forget but never forgive, women forgive but never forget.